Hi everyone, my name is Maddie, welcome back to my channel and welcome to this very exciting video where I'm finally announcing Whatever-You-Want-A-Thon. So for any of you who haven't seen on Twitter or seen me mention it in my videos or just seen me not shut up about it, I am hosting a Readathon in June and it is called Whatever-You-Want-A-Thon or Whatever-Thon, depending on whether you can bother to say the full name or not. So I'm so excited. I've had this idea. I got this idea first at the beginning of January, so it's been a long time in the works and I'm so excited to finally announce it. Obviously I've been giving like a few hints on Twitter and stuff, but now you're getting all the details. First of all, easy thing to get out of the way, dates. This readathon is running through the whole month of June, from the 1st of June to the 30th of June. I've chosen June for a variety of reasons. Firstly, the first anniversary of my channel is on the 1st of June. Secondly, my 23rd birthday is on the 4th of June. And thirdly, in the UK at least, June is Pride Month. It just feels great. So that is when Whatever-thon is going to be. All through June, it's a month-long readathon and I am so excited. So just to introduce the concept for the readathon and explain the name, basically you can read whatever you want, however you want. This whole readathon is designed to work for anyone. There is a whole range of complexity within this readathon, from read a bit and take part to so many prompts and challenges and ways to earn points, because yes, it's competitive, we'll get to that in a moment. And you can do all of that. So you can just read for fun and do nothing, or you can go all in. And the reason I've done this is I know a lot of people enjoy a competitive readathon, but often competitive readathons have a lot of rules, have a lot of things you have to follow to earn points, which for a lot of people doesn't work. So if you just want to mood read really casually and still take part, this readathon will still work for you. And if you want to be utterly crazy and spend weeks planning your TBR and making it so you can get every single point you can, this is also the readathon for you. But very quickly, before we get into the competitive side of things with teams and hosts, which I know you are all waiting for because I've been teasing it on Twitter for weeks, the first thing we're going to do is the overall concept. So this is obviously going to be a competitive readathon, but what I didn't want to do was have it so you have to read 10 books to complete the readathon, or 20 or 5, because everyone's reading is different. So in the description of this video, there is a sign-up form. Please use that form if you want to take part in this readathon, though there is no limit for when you can join. You can join now, you can join on the 30th of June. Completely up to you. But the sooner the better, because it's fun. In that sign-up form, a question you will have to answer is how many books is your goal for June? And this is completely up to you. If you normally read 20 books in a month and you want to just say, I'm gonna go with 20, fab. If you normally read 3 in a month and you maybe want to challenge yourself and put 5, fantastic. If you normally read 10, but you know you've got a really busy month coming up and you want to say 5, say 5, that is absolutely fine. You set your own goal. The only thing I would ask is if you normally read 20, don't put 1 just for the sake of earning points. Please, put a realistic number for yourself, but it's completely up to you. I won't know if it's realistic or not, and I have no way of changing it. So I'm gonna have to trust you all. So that goal is officially what you're aiming for in the month. That's your overall landmark. And when you've hit that goal is when you've officially completed Whatever-thon, but there's a bit more to it than that. So because just working towards your own goal and working in whatever way and whatever works for you is kind of the aim, there are going to be levels. So when you have reached 1/4 of your goal, if you're reading something like 5 books, it'll be when you've surpassed a quarter. So 1 book won't count, 2 books will. It's going to be a bit rough unless you choose a multiple of 4, but so be it. But when you have reached 1/4 of your goal, you will officially graduate from being a mortal to a youngling. When you have reached half of your goal, you move from being a youngling to an acolyte. When you reach 3/4, you move up to mage status. And then when you hit the full, you've completed your goal, you are a deity. Those titles in themselves don't have a lot of meaning to them. They're just a bit of fun. But there are points bonuses when you hit each of those goals. And with that, we're going to start getting into the competitive side of things. Now, I mentioned the sign-up form in the description, and I'm going to say this now, and I cannot explain how important this is, so please listen to this. When you sign up, it will say where you put in your name, please put something unique, such as a Twitter handle. You must do this. Make sure you use something that you are 100% certain no one else will use throughout the readathon. and you must remember what you use exactly so that you can use it on the tracking form as you read books. The reason for this is I have created a spreadsheet to automatically calculate all the points, so I'm not manually going through and doing it myself. And it's a great spreadsheet and I'm very proud of it, and it took me a very long time. But it does use the names from the tracking sheet to assign you to your team and put your points in the right place. So if there are two people with the same name on different teams, your points will get counted for both teams, which kind of breaks the system. So we just need to guarantee that the name you use is unique. If you absolutely cannot remember what name you signed up with, I might be able to find it for you and help you do it for the tracking form. But just please, please, please use a unique name, write it down somewhere so you can use it later throughout the month. Please. It will save us all so much time, and it will make the scoring even better, because you don't want your points going to another team, do you? It's in your best interest to do this as well. But very quickly, the final thing I'll say before explaining the competition, the teams, the hosts, all of that, I cannot stress strongly enough, you can read anything. Can you read audiobooks? Yes. Can you read ebooks? Yes. Can you read graphic novels? Yes. Can you read manga or comics? Yes. You can read anything. If you think it is a book, it is a book. Exactly the same when we get into prompts, when we get into genre, when we get into all of this for the complexities. If you think it counts, it does. There are no rules, pretty much. Yes, there's a little bit of trust and honesty going on, so don't read a high fantasy book and tick it off saying it's contemporary, because it's not. But if you think it counts, it counts. If any of you have watched any of my videos before where I have something with prompts, you will know I twist everything to read the book I actually want to read, and I'm very, very good at it. So same rules apply. Twist everything, manipulate everything, make it work for you. You're setting your own goal. You can read whatever you want. So if you have a question that you want to tweet at me, which is, can I read this? The answer is yes. Yes, you can read it. It works however you want it to work. And talking about Twitter, there is actually a Twitter account where most of this will probably be run, which is Whatever-Thon. I will link it down below. And there is also a Discord, which is in the sign-up form for like a community fun chat during it. So if you do have any questions at the end of this, you can ask there, but please watch this whole video, see if you've got any questions. There's a link to a Google Drive in the description with all the graphics and all the descriptions. Check that. If you still have a question, then tweet me or message me on Discord. But like, the answer will probably be yes, it works, because you can read whatever you want. But now, the fun bit. Teams and hosts. You have all been waiting for this. I know, I have been being really evil and teasing you all on Twitter for like 3 weeks now. But here we go. There are 5 teams with 2 team captains / hosts, I'm using the terms interchangeably, per team. And we're going to run through them now. I will say you can choose to be on whichever team you want. I will explain the reasoning behind the teams, but you don't have to follow it. You can just choose whichever team you want. Okay, first up we have Camp Contemporary. And this is the blue team, I'll put the graphic here. And our lovely team captains for Camp Contemporary are Steph from Steph Loves and India from What India Read. This, as you can tell from the title, is officially the contemporary team. But as I said, I would explain the reasoning for this in just a moment. Team number 2 is our Comrades of Chaos, and this is the pink team. Again, graphic here. And our wonderful hosts for this one are Spoops or Holly from Spoopy Hole and Ro from Wandering Through Worlds. And this team is the least well-defined in terms of genre. It's thrillers and crime and literary fiction and historical and honestly anything that doesn't fit within the other 4 teams. We struggled to fit genres into 5 teams, and this is what we came up with, hence Comrades of Chaos, and apologies for these 2 for their very undefined team. Next up is the middle grade Monarchs team, and this is the orange team, unsurprisingly hosted by Jade from JD Reads and Gav from How to Train Your Gavin. We all know they are the monarchs of middle grade in this community, so it only seemed fitting for them to host this team. Next up, we have the black team, which is Epic and High, and this is going to be hosted by Becca from Becca in the Books and Cody from Cody's Book Corner, for any of our epic fantasy lovers out there. And then the final team is the Dreams and Drama Queens, and this is the green team, and this is going to be hosted by Ashley at A Frolic Through Fiction, and me. I couldn't resist. I know normally for readathons the host isn't technically also hosting a team, but if anyone knows me, I am a painfully competitive person, And also, I think the Readathon sounds fun, so I want to take part, so I'm hosting a team. Oops. And this is going to be like fantastical speculative, so kind of anything that's kind of fantasy-ish, but you wouldn't consider like a high or epic fantasy. So this is going to be, unsurprisingly, considering it's me, things like the Night Circus and that kind of vibe. So those are your 5 teams, your 10 lovely hosts, I guess, including myself, me plus them, I don't know. But I'm so excited. I cannot thank them all enough for agreeing to be part of this. Like, honestly, it means the world to me, and I'm so hyped for it. But to get into the kind of competitive side of things a bit more, firstly, to explain the genres of the teams. The reason I've given the teams genres more than anything is to make the point that you can read anything. A lot of readathons lean towards fantasy, a lot of booktube leans towards fantasy, and I realise in calling the like tiers you can reach youngling, acolyte, mage, and deity, they feel quite fantasy. You don't need to read fantasy. You don't need to touch fantasy. You can read litfic, contemporary, romance, fantasy romance, whatever you want. Are we understanding the title now? So the reason for the genres in the teams is A, to make it very clear that you can read whatever you want, B, to potentially help you choose a team, and C, so that you can get some bonus points. I will just say very quickly before we get into all of the detail, I understand the scoring is complex. I will say again, you don't need to worry about it too much. I will calculate all of it, but I do understand there's a lot of complexities about how everything can work. The basic rule is do whatever you want, but if you do have questions that aren't answered in this video or in all the links on Twitter and description, like all the graphics, comment them down below, tweet them at me, put them on Discord, wherever you want, and I will be collating them all, and in like a week or two, I will do an FAQ video answering everyone's questions, because I have tried to structure this video as well as I can, but I realized talking through all of this is a bit confusing and it may not cover everything. So any questions, do comment them if you can't find the answer in the graphics and stuff, and I'll do an FAQ video soon. So if I don't get back to you, don't worry, they will be answered in that video. So to explain the scoring, the way it is going to work throughout the readathon is every time you read a book, or you can do it all at the end if you want, though it's much easier if you do it as you go along, you have to go into the tracking form, which is also down in the description. There are 2 forms, sign up and tracking. And in that tracking form, you put in your name, which I will stress again, like I did at the beginning when mentioning the sign up form. It must be a unique name and it must be the same one as you use when you use the sign up. Otherwise, my spreadsheet that is doing all the scoring for us will not work. So please use something like your Twitter handle, or if you don't have Twitter, just make sure it's going to be really unique. So like your name with a huge string of numbers after it, and remember it, because you're going to need to use it every time. And I will not be checking my spreadsheet to tell you what name you signed up under, because I don't have time. I do have a full-time job, so please keep track of it for yourself. But for the scoring, when you fill in this tracking form, you will have to tell me what book you read, how many pages it was. That's just for my interest. And then there's a few questions to answer. So, is it LGBT? If it does, you get bonus points. I'll go through the exact scoring in a minute. Is it one of the host's favorites? You'll notice there's a graphic down in the description with 30 books on it, which are each of the host's 3 favorite books. If you read any of those or any books in those series, you can tick that host favorite. It doesn't have to be the host from your team. It can be a host from any team, so you don't have to read just like the 6 that are from your hosts. It can be any. And as I said, it can be any in the series. So if, for example, on the graphic is the first in a series, if you're reading book 3, that still absolutely counts, because I wouldn't want to limit you because you've already read the first book. It will also ask you, does it fit one of the prompts? We will go through the 15 prompts in just a minute. And it will also ask if it fits the genre of your team. So those are the 4 things will be scored on: LGBT, host's fave, fits a prompt, and fits the genre of your team. Those are the 4 things that you can get extra points for. So let's explain this point system. If you don't want to follow this in detail, don't worry. You do not need to keep track of your own points throughout the month unless you really want to. It will all be on the spreadsheet, which will be released at the end of the month. I will not, however, throughout the month be giving you like individual updates. I will be doing updates on like, this team is going ahead by this many points, all of that. Obviously, it will all be averaged out throughout the month and at the end. So if one team has more people, they are at no advantage. It will be averaged out for how many people are on the team. But please do not message me asking for how many points have I got so far. If you want to know that, keep track yourself. But if you're not keeping up with the maths, which I'll explain in a minute, I will have it all and it will be released at the end of the readathon. So how many points do you get for things? Firstly, because it's the core thing, is going to be you reaching your goal. When you get to a quarter of your goal and become a youngling, you get a 500 point bonus. When you reach Acolyte, you get another 1,000. When you reach Mage, you get an extra 1,500. And when you reach Deity, you get an extra 2,000. So by completing your own goal that you set yourself, you will get a total of 5,000 points just from that. And on top of that, you do get 100 points for every book that you read up to your goal, and you get 200 points for any books above that, just as there's no more bonuses, so I thought I'd give you more points for reading more. Again, if you don't reach your goal, it doesn't matter. You are still helping your team by just taking part. Do not feel pressured to fit everything to do points. I am only putting this as a thing for those like myself who really enjoy kind of trying to fit into prompts and having a bit of fun and trying to manipulate a system. If you just want to read whatever you want and log your books, that's completely your prerogative. I've just given a lot of complexity for those that want it. So that's the main way you earn points, by reading books and by hitting your goal, but you will get far more points than you would by getting to your goal than you would by reading books alone. So don't feel pressured to read lots, just get to your goal. And then the ways of getting bonus points, firstly, is if your book is LGBTQ+ in any way, be it the author, be the rep in the book, any of that, then you get an extra 100 points on that book, which practically doubles the value of the book because it's Pride Month. We want to encourage people to read LGBT books. If it is one of the host's faves, then you do get a 50 point bonus. If it fits the genre of your team, you get a 50 point bonus. And again, don't ask me if this fits. The genres are a bit vague. If you read a fantasy romance and you're on the contemporary team and want to claim it because it's romance, fab. If you read a fantasy romance and you're on the fantasy teams, either of them, and want to claim it, fantastic. Completely up to you what you count. And then finally, there are 15 prompts and you earn 25 points for everyone you hit, up to 3 per book. I'll explain that. So you are more than welcome to double up on prompts, triple up on prompts, quadruple up on prompts. You can complete the same prompt multiple times for multiple books, completely up to you. However, when you're filling in the tracking form, you will notice the option for did this complete a prompt is it fit 0, 1, 2, and then there's option 3 or more. That is because you are maximum in terms of points allowed to claim the points of 3 prompts per book. For the sole reason of if you somehow found a book that fit all 15, you would then end up getting such a huge bonus from that that it would just be ridiculous. So your maximum is to get 3, which is to equate for 75 points, but you are allowed to tick any prompts that it fits. So if like in your mind, you really want to get to all 15 prompts and you want to do it in 3 books, so you want to like get 5 prompts per book, feel free to tick them all on the tracking sheet. This is just the sole purpose of me keeping track of points that it's limited for 3. So I'm guessing you probably want to know what the 15 prompts are, so I will read them out, but I say again, with this, with the host faves, everything, there are graphics on Twitter and linked down below, so if you can't remember them, look at the graphics. Don't just ask me, they will be listed. But they are prompt number 1, the cover reminds you of a pride flag. An example of this is I wish you all the best. It is the colours of the non-binary pride flag, would work perfectly. Number 2, reread a comfort read. Number 3, a 5-star prediction. Number 4, an author's debut book. This doesn't have to be an author who only has 1 book out. It could be someone who has 10 books out, just read the first one. Number 5, a book that is out of your comfort zone. This can be in any way. So for example, for me, I would say a middle grade book. I've read many before, I don't necessarily find them challenging, but they're definitely not my normal kind of book. Number 6 is a book that you've hauled within the last year. If you are someone who has somehow either not hauled any books in the last year or has read them all, just the book you hauled most recently or relatively recently, even if for you that was 3 years ago. Number 7 is a book that is either indie or self-published. So this is basically anything not published by Penguin, Simon & Schuster, HarperCollins, Bloomsbury, and I might be missing someone, but the really big well-known publishers. Anyone else or a self-pubbed book. Number 8 is to have a POC author and or characters, so just POC rep in some way. Number 9 is poll, and so for this, either put a poll on Twitter and tag the Whatever-Thon Twitter account and I'll retweet it and people can vote for you. Or if you're watching reading sprints, then feel free to comment on the reading sprints and let people vote for you, or just message a group of your friends and let them choose. It's completely up to you. Just in some way, let people choose. You're also welcome to do this on the Discord. I will have a whole channel on the Discord for the polls. Number 10 is to fit a TBR game prompt. There are a lot of people out there who have TBR games, and actually every single one of the hosts has a TBR game, so Basically watch any of ours or anyone else's TBR game for June, or another month if you really want to, and see what prompts they get, pick one and fit it. Number 11 is to buddy read a book. Number 12 is to read a book with disability or mental health rep. Number 13 is to read a book which is on a booktubers or book creators, so it could be Instagram, blogging, wherever, TikTok, whatever. It's on one of their favorites lists, so this could be their favorites of 2020, it could be their favorite series, their favorite middle grades, whatever, just on a list of favorites that someone has. Again, you have a lot of choice with that one. Number 14 is to read a book where the cover features your team color, ideally quite prominently, but if you want to read a book that has like one very small dot of orange on it and claim it for middle grade Monarchs, that's completely up to you. And then for the 15th prompt, just a little bit of fun, but a bit awkward to explain, you need to pick a book where the first letter of the title in the book that you want to read is the same as the last letter of the title of the book you just read. So for example, say I had just finished reading The Day of the Triffids, this title ends with an S, and so then I could pick up Strange the Dreamer next because this title starts with an S. So that is what you're kind of trying to do with that one. So those are the 15 prompts. I say again, they will be posted on Twitter, they will be in the graphics down in the description, they'll be on the Discord. I realized just listing them off, they're not easy to remember. I will also be making graphics, which will be in that Google Drive, which you can use, for example, for Instagram, where it's like a bingo board and you can cross off the ones you fulfilled or put a graphic in for what book you read for it, all of that. But I think that's all the key information. You know the hosts, you know the scoring, you should be able to join a team, you know where the sign up form is, you know where the Twitter is. Please do let me know if there are any burning questions. I am willing to make an FAQ if the same questions come up a lot of times if I've missed something. But basically, you set your own goal, try and achieve that goal, take part in whatever else you want. There's a lot of it if you want to take part in all the detail, but you really don't have to. Read what you want, have fun, bit of competitive spirit. That's basically it. Hopefully this all made sense. I hope you are all looking forward to this as much as I am, because I am incredibly excited both to be hosting this and to take part myself. And thank you so much for watching this. I hope you will take part. I cannot wait to see which team wins. We are going to need some serious team spirit up in here because it is going to get competitive. But thank you for watching. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Comment down below if you're going to take part. Let me know if you've already chosen your team. I know a lot of you are going to have a really hard time choosing. If I wasn't on a team myself, I don't know how I would choose which team I was going to be on, to be honest. But that is it for the video, so bye, and I'll see you in the next one.